In sworn testimony this week, the former IRS commissioner continued in his refusals to name names as to who orchestrated the targeting of conservative groups who are seeking tax-exempt status. But my next guest says it absolutely went on, and she believes it goes much further than what has been revealed so far. Catherine Engelbrecht is president of True the Vote, an organization determined to routing out voter fraud. Catherine, thanks so much for being here. You are the woman whose story was mentioned last week by a Texas congressman who said, who spoke of not only IRS inquiries and audits, but visits from the ATF, visits from the FBI, visits from OSHA. And the way we've tallied it up is 5 FBI inquiries, 1 IRS visit, 3 IRS inquiries, 1 ATF audit, 1 OSHA visit, 1 Texas Commission on Environmental Quality audit, and 1 personal IRS audit, all after you had the nerve to do what?
Apparently after I had the nerve to file a tax exemption application with the IRS for True the Vote.
You were a normal citizen. You were just normal.
Once upon a time.
And then you decided, you and your husband are self-made, you don't have a tons of dough, but you started an organization, a company in your garage. And then you got a little
That's
political
right.
because you thought, we can improve things in this country. But after the '08 election, you saw some things at the voting box that concern you. And then came True the Vote. That's your organization that's now gotten a lot of attention. And had you ever had any trouble with any of these organizations prior to your submitting that organization for tax-exempt status?
No, and really when I look at the timeline of events, that's the thing that makes it so glaringly obvious that there's been a sea change somewhere, because we've been in business for now nearly 20 years, and prior to filing this application some 3 years ago, we'd had no involvement with any government agency other than to just file our yearly tax returns. Upon filing, everything changed.
Now, they mentioned the FBI coming to your place of business repeatedly, and ATF. That is because you have the capability of producing weapons parts, but it's not something you do?
Correct. Well, there's actually 2 kind of separate storylines there. The FBI actually came to the facility where we have our nonprofit operations, and they were inquiring about someone who had come to one of our programs, and that kind of took a turn after they determined we didn't really know about the person who had come to the programs. Then they began just calling and following up and asking if there was any new news to report, and that went on for a period of time. The ATF is a different deal because that is involved in our private business. We do have a license to manufacture gun component parts. We've never done so. But the ATF does have authorization to come in and do an audit.
But again, however, they never bothered you before. I mean, that's the interesting thing.
No,
and so
that's it.
Where I want to pick up with you, we're going to take a break, but I'm going to pick it up with you on the other side, is because we know now they've admitted that they were targeting conservative groups like True the Vote for extra scrutiny. And we'll show the viewers the paperwork, the mountain of paperwork they made you turn around. But if they are doing retaliatory audits or sharing information with other agencies, that takes it to a whole new level. That's next. Catherine Engelbrecht is back with me. She's president of True the Vote. So they asked you hundreds upon hundreds of questions at the IRS in connection with your application for tax-exempt status, including every Facebook post and tweet you'd ever written, questions about your family. We have a picture of the paperwork you had to reply with. They gave you 1 week to turn this around, even though they took months in delaying. Do you still have your tax-exempt status?
No, we're no further along now than we were July of 2010. We're still waiting. And in fact, the picture that you're showing, that is just 1 round of questions. We've gone through 4.
It's unbelievable. Do you believe that the other efforts, I mean, the visits by ATF and FBI and OSHA and so on, were related? And do you believe that this was a course of intimidation?
You know, I don't want to believe that. But when you look at the timeline of events, it's almost impossible to make any other assumption. I mean, it's statistically inconceivable that all that would happen in such short a time when it had never happened before. We hope to be able to get to the bottom of this, and that's why we filed a lawsuit yesterday against the IRS for unlawful action. Our goal is through discovery to find out exactly who knew what when and who told whom what. It just doesn't add up that no one in this administration ever knows anything before it's announced in the press.
Need a quick answer, but they maintain this was not political. Your thoughts?
Well, I would disagree.
Catherine, thank you. Good luck to you as this saga continues.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
You know how it goes. Once you get the lawyers involved and they file a lawsuit, sometimes the things can move along a little quicker in terms of getting answers. We'll see whether that's the case here.